Good morning and welcome to Today in the News here on Vanguard Life. My name is Ololade Adewumi. A look into the newspapers for today. Major headline on the Vanguard says petrol consumption down 28%. Ipman groans. Operators recount ordeal. List courses. Pump hands are idle at stations. It's trying time for us, says marketers. Frequent price changes on LV for sector. Expert warns. Major story can be found on page 23 of the Vanguard newspaper. Top banner on the Vanguard says Tinubu, Okiro, others mourn as ex-IGP Solomon Arase dies at 69. Tinubu has been fair to all sections of Nigeria, says federal government. Story can be found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Union Bank completes merger with Titan Trust Bank. GTCO increases banks paid up capital to 504 billion naira. Wage increase. NECA NLC urge states to emulate Imo Ebonyi. No sabotage in Abuja Kaduna train derailment, says federal government. Lower banner 2027. Kayamo wants PDP against fielding Jonathan Obi. You can't decide our candidate, PDP replies minister. And lastly, Rivers local government polls. APC sweeps 20 councils. PDP 3. Wike Hills exercise. Atiku rejects results. Story can be found on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from the Vanguard, straight into the Punch newspaper. Major headline on the Punch says Rivers local government poll. Atiku demands annulment as Wike reassets control. Fubara loses local government. APC wins 20 local governments. PDP claims 3. FCT minister controls temporarily. Rivers elder says. Top banner infractions. Federal government threatens to disconnect Gencos from power grid. Tinubu police mourn as ex-IG Arese dies at 69. Reps deny alleged planned showdown with Speaker. Northwest leads in FEC project with 5.97 trillion naira, says federal government. Away from the Punch, straight into the Nation newspaper. Major headline on the Nation says Idris federal government project spread fairly among 6 zones. Northwest is major beneficiary. Over 1,000 primary healthcare centers rehabilitated. Health security systems reinforced to combat disease threat. APC sweeps to victory in 20 Rivers councils. PDP takes 3. Away from the Nation, straight into the Guardian newspaper. Major headline on the Guardian says raw material crisis threatens industrial rival. Nigeria's first policy. Story can be found on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. That's all we have on the front page of our newspapers today. Join us after the break for a quick analysis of some of our top stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News here on Vanguard Life. My name is Ololade Adewumi. Joining me in the studio today is the CEO Magnet Communication, Mr. Aliu Mohammed. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Lolade. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And look into our top story for today. On August 30th, 2025, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission conducted local government elections in Rivers State. The All Progressive Congress, APC, won 20 out of 23 local government areas, while the People's Democratic Party secured only 3 local governments. Notably, Governor Fubara lost his own local government, Okpobo Nkoro, to the APC. Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, strongly condemned the poll result, calling the process an awful absurdity and a travesty to the very notion of elective democracy. What does the APC's overwhelming win in Rivers State imply about the current state of our political alliances in that region?
Thank you. It is obvious that what is happening in Rivers State is not through politics. It is not through democracy. What we have in Rivers State is nothing but autocracy. How can one party have such a sweeping number of results? I mean, number of votes in an election contested by about 3 political parties. So I am not surprised The reports we are getting shows that there was this overwhelming influence by Wike in that election. You know, he has enough money to throw around for people to vote for APC, because at the end of the day, he's also leaving PDP for APC. It is obvious from his actions, from his words, that he's not a PDP person 100%, one leg in, another leg out of PDP. So, to me, like Atiku said, there was no election in Rivers State, but selection. Nothing but selection. I'm saying that again.
It seems right now that Wiki has regained influence at the grassroots. What does this mean for the for Governor Fubara's administration going forward?
Fubara has no choice but to subdue to the whims and caprices of Wiki, because he wants to come back as governor of that state. At the commissioning of a project in Abuja last week, I saw Fubara beside Wike like a small boy standing behind his boss. You know, that is the extent to which Fubara has been subdued in his efforts to go back to the government house in Port Harcourt. He wants to go back after the expiration of the state of emergency slammed on that on his administration, for which he is presently out of the government house. He's doing everything he can to ensure that once the 6 months slam expires, he goes back there. He has been reconciled with Wike by the president, and is doing everything possible, including the fact that he's ready to lie down and allow Wike to climb on him, just because he wants to get back to his office as the governor. That is the scenario that is playing out. And it is unfortunate in a country where we practice democracy, a governor was removed simply because of a quarrel with another member of his party. If you look at, if you do a review of the whole incident that led to the removal of Fubara, I will tell you that it is unjust. But we are in Nigeria. Anything can happen in Nigeria just to satisfy one person. That young man has suffered for 6 months. And if you are in his position as a governor, you will do anything you can to get back to that office, if only for anything that your name, image, and reputation is not rubbished. Because there is a future for that young man, Fubara. For God's sake, he has a future, but everything seems to be crashing down on his head. It is unfortunate. I pray that no man goes through what Fubara has gone through in life. You will do what he's doing now to get back what was taken away from you. And so I am waiting for a situation where we will have a total peace in Rivers State, by hook or crook. I am saying it again, by hook or crook. Let that gentleman go back there and complete his tenure. He may not hold any other office. I feel sorry for him each time I see him beside Wiki, like a boy that has been thoroughly whipped to submission. That is what life is. When you don't have a mind of your own and you rely on somebody to help you get to a position, there is no how you can stay on that position and be yourself. You will always be dancing to the tunes of those who has helped you. That is one policy that I have imbibed since my days as a journalist. I don't rely on anybody to help facilitate my promotion. And all the promotions that I got when I was serving as a journalist, when I became editor, I was abroad. I was called that, come, you have been promoted, come back home. So you must work. It's a lesson to everybody. Whatever you want to achieve in life, work for it. Don't go and beg anybody to help you to get to a position. Once he does, you will become his or her slave. You must work and achieve whatever you want to achieve in this world. It's a big lesson to all those who are growing up. Don't rely on anybody. Work hard. Even if that your hard work is not noticed, it is noticed by God Almighty, and He will give you all the attainments that you want by sheer hard work, not by relying on human beings. It's a lesson to everyone. Don't rely on any human being to get you to any position, because that human being can look at you and tell you that you have committed an offense, and like Wike is doing, he will want to deal with you. So it's a lesson, it's a message to everybody. Don't just see it as a Wike Fubara thing. It's a lesson to everybody. Work hard, attain what God has destined you to be in life, and be sure that nobody is watching you from behind. That is my policy about life.
How valid do you think the opposition's call to reject the election is, and what are the legal or political avenues
You
available
see, all
for them
those
to
calls
use?
will not achieve anything. From Atiku, from anybody, that guy is, that state is in the grip of Yeson Wike, the guy who is the minister for FCT and the only government official that drives, what is the name of this car? Is it Rolls Royce? Is the only minister that drives Rolls Royce around Abuja, while other ministers use their official cars. You can see the lawlessness that surrounds the activities of this young man. He's not yet 60 and he's behaving like a lord and master. I don't pray for his fall, but people like that, their lives and survival is in the hands of God Almighty, not in the hands of anybody. We have seen more people who have behaved like that. We have seen how they ended. So you should be careful.
So, what does this election say about the credibility of elections right now in Nigeria as of today?
It has um, it has dented the democratic records that we have in this country. We've always had elections, and people will complain that no, 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 and we'll have foreign support. But this one, I don't want to say much about it. It has dented the image of our country as a democratic nation. That we are in a country that can accommodate such an election filled with malpractice. I saw the video, how people were thumbprinting and removing it and putting it on the side of the table. And I was surprised that this is an election that is held in Nigeria. It's an embarrassment to our country. Do we know how embarrassed the outside world will feel if they see that video? We must rise above all these fraudulent practices as a nation. It will get to a stage where people will not take any election held in Nigeria seriously anymore. So we have to check ourselves. We have to leave the name Nigeria in a very, very good uh, perception in the minds of foreigners.
Look into a second story. The federal government, via the Information Minister Mohammed Idris, dismissed allegations that President Bola Tinubu's administration favors certain regions. He asserted that the administration has upheld fairness, justice, and equity across all six geopolitical zones, particularly infrastructure project appointments and opportunities. He highlighted infrastructure initiatives like the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway in the south, the Sokoto Badagry Super Highway in the north, the establishment of regional development commissions, as well as significant investments in roads, railway, healthcare facilities, and even power. Do you agree with the federal government's statement that no region has been sidelined?
Well, you see, there is no how you will be walking as a man and your head will not shake. I want to answer that question with that proverb. There is this Yoruba proverb that there is no how you can walk, how well you can walk, and your head will not shake. You just read out a list of appointments that has been given to Northerners, Easterners, and other parts of the country, and somebody is still coming out to say that the appointments made by President Tinubu is one-sided. I wish they were alive during Buhari's administration. I wish they were alive, because these people are talking as if they were not alive. When Buhari was the president of this country for 8 years, we had more Northerners in the federal government ministries, parastatals, foreign and diplomatic areas, and nobody was able to talk. We now have a president that is giving attention to all parts of the country in his appointments, in his projects, evaluations and developments, and somebody is still saying this. I don't want to believe that whoever said that Tinubu has been partial lives in this country. I doubt if he lives here. He must be living in his own cocoon. So I don't want to say much on that. I want to answer that question that way. But you, not because you're a Yoruba person, what's your opinion? I think the guy is doing well in terms of appointments. There are some people who are Southerners that helped Tinubu to get to power. I know some of them. Up till today, they have not been given an appointment, despite the fact that they spent their money, they wasted their energy, they put in all the efforts that they could to ensure that the president win the election that brought him to office. So I don't accept that position.
So let's take a look into the infrastructure distribution. What is your evaluation of the federal government assertion that Tinubu's administration has maintained equity across all regions through infrastructural distribution?
I support the statement of that minister. I have read it before coming here. I didn't know you were going to ask this question. I read it this morning online. You see, if you look at the distribution of projects, it's been equal. Road projects are going on in the north. If you go to Abuja today, so many projects have been commissioned in that place. Hospitals, rail projects, and all that. Are those projects in the southwest? No. We must be fair. I'm not saying that Tinubu is a saint. He is not. He has his own mistakes. He has his own weaknesses. He has his own embarrassing acts. But I will not support this. I will not support that. He is one-sided in the citing of projects. No. He has been fair. As far as I am concerned, he has been fair. Because let's even talk about appointments. The Minister of Works is from where? He's from the East. He didn't come from the West. And so many other. Wike is from where? Is it from the Southwest? He's the Minister of FCT, one of the most powerful ministers we have in this country. People should sit down and evaluate and think about what they have to say about Tinubu. I'm not saying don't criticize him. I'm not saying don't abuse him. You can't, but come up with facts and figures, not lies. I am not 100% in support of some of the things that are taking place in this administration. But I cannot go out and start talking about things that are unthinkable, the way they are talking about appointments that are one-sided. If you go and do a thorough analysis of Tinubu's appointment since he came to office, some other parts of the country have benefited more than the Southwest. I give you that assignment. Go and check.
So the federal government actually cited, the infrastructural project split being 52% in the north and 48% in the south. Do you think this actually reflects actual equity, particularly looking at the difference in population and
Even if
development
you are
needs?
talking about equity, these people are telling you that it is not enough, that more projects are in the southwest. And from these figures, there are more projects in the north. And you are talking about equity. Is that equitable? No. We in the southwest should be protesting. We should be carrying cards to say we no go gree. You have over 50% projects in the north. But we are not doing that. We are not doing that. Well, so if the president has been so magnanimous to do that for the north, I think it deserves to be commended, not to be condemned. That is the aspect that I frown at. If somebody is doing well, you give him a round of applause. If you can't clap, shut up. Don't destroy him. Don't destroy that person. Hmm? I am, like I said, if you sit down and do a thorough and fair evaluation of the distribution of projects by Tinubu, the north has benefited more. Then you can talk about the west, southwest, and the east. The Minister of Works is from the east. He's doing a lot in the east. But you see, I used to love going to the east, but kidnapping is one thing that has stopped me. I have a lot of friends in the eastern part of the country that I'm supposed to always go there to see. But this kidnapping thing has made me to stay back. And that is an aspect of our life that we should look at. We must find it is giving this country a bad name, extremely bad name. You are not free to even move around in Lagos, in some parts of Lagos. I am telling you, you are not free. So most of the time, I just restrict myself to office, home, go out a few times with friends or areas that are safe. That is the extent to which people are scared to even get out of Lagos now. I can't remember when last I traveled by road. If I don't have money to fly, too bad, I will stay in my house. So government should also look into kidnapping. It is disturbing that a human being will be kidnapped, especially in the east. They will kill people. There was a video that I saw. People went to visit a plot of land where skeletons of people that have been killed by kidnappers filled the entire land. That is not a good story. It's not good for the image and reputation of Nigeria. So government must do something about that too.
Let's end today's segment with the Mr. and Mrs. segment. So Mr. says, at the club, when men confessed why they married their wives, some cited carriage, money, and by majority curves. Mrs. says, and you? Mr. says, well, I married my bosom friend.
Yes, this is the best thing. You must marry a bosom friend if you want to get married. Marry a bosom friend.
But if we look at it, bosom can be tweaked in two ways.
It's in your hands. You see, the mind of an average man, when you talk about love, and what is in the mind of a woman are different. In the mind of a woman, love means money. A man can offer you genuine love with money, but an average woman, money. I apologize if I have offended.
Thank you very much, Mr. Liu Mohammed. Thank you for joining us today. That was Mr. Liu Mohammed, CEO Magnet Communications. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media platforms as seen on your screen and on our website for more details at www.vanguardngr.com. My name is